If they were so focused on individuality, then why marry? It's a union of two.
Sacrifice is needed.
Sacrifice needed, commitment is needed, it needs work.
Mm.
Marriage is for the brave. It is not like I will be how I am, let that other person come and adjust.
So welcome, Ms. Sandhya. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you, Mayank, for having me on your show.
Thank you. Thank you very much
I
for
wish it
coming.
all a success.
Oh, thank you. Seems like the ending. No, wish you all the success. Bye bye.
Yes, yes, I'll do. I'll say that again.
Yes.
But it's nice to see if young people are, open about it, talk about it, an interaction which they could not have with the older generation because you're so busy in work.
Hmm.
You won't find enough older generation around you
Yes.
to talk about it. And so this is the platform that everybody talks,
Hmm.
bringing people.
It's coming up, quite aggressively. Many podcasts have been started
Yeah.
in the recent past. This is a
Yeah.
good format actually. Content
Mm.
creation with a sort when where a person having all sort of expertise and knowledge about something talks about it.
Mm.
Good thing. So you have been involved in more than 1,000 marriages, and you know lot many things about what happens before the marriage, during the marriage, and afterwards. When they come to you breaking each other's head,
Absolutely.
yeah, with problems only. If the marriage is going
No,
good,
there are
they will
good
come.
things. There are good things.
Okay.
And when they come with having children, that's success. And when we see the children grow up, it's very nice to see. It is a very fruitful union.
Hmm. Yeah.
And if we get some calls that few years back you advised me on this and I followed it, and because of that my we are living happily. So that kind of warms your heart
Hmm.
when you receive this
Hmm.
messages like this.
When I'm meeting people nowadays, my friends
Okay.
and people who are even younger to me, they're coming up with a weird idea. They're saying, why is marriage needed? I don't think I want to marry. Girls come up and say, see, I can't take responsibility of a child. Delivering a child is so tough, and then, looking after the child, it's a long project. So, in your view, what you think? Marriage is necessary or not?
See, we start with you know what a marriage is. On those days, many it and there's a reason why God made a woman, right? There is a reason where there are two species in any kingdom. That's a basic requirement for getting the generation ahead. Then when the religion came up and all, they put some dogmas and they brought certain rules and regulations for the successful union of the two people, and there's some guidelines and all that. So everything changed, I think, much during the World War when there was roles which were not which were very clearly defined were started blurring during those world wars, and when the western countries were more liberal, where they said marriage was not necessary to go forward in life, and they lived. So similar thing we're seeing a trend here, but the thing is it gives you, when you come into a marriage, when you it's a legal, when you're telling about marriage, it's more like a legal binding, right? That's
Yeah.
what you're talking, right?
Yes, yes.
So it is you feel safer when you're legally bound. That's one thing. And there's no ambiguity that and you feel a commitment to each other. So those are values which the younger generation will anyway have to develop that. I mean, they are not pushed, they are seeing it as a casual thing,
Hmm.
which it is not ultimately.
What is the
At
role?
at some point of time, it cannot be casual. It has to be like definite commitment,
So
definite me for her, she for me.
yeah. So when you grow up, you reach the age of 45 and 50, then you understand the importance of a stable marriage.
Stable marriage, yeah. Because by the time your emotions of that youth, all that, the extremities of emotions have reduced a little bit. You're more softer by 40s, and then you realized, I wish I had listened to them. I wished I had.
Mm,
So it is, unless there is some, you have made a decision for life that you do not want to get married at all. Some people do that, take a decision, and that's it, they live by it. That's another category of people. But there are, like, trying to find, maybe, may not be. Such people need to have a clear goal in life. Like, this is the path. Or some people, would I would also say about these couples who are from a traditional background, they know that this is a necessary for them to move on in life.
mm,
So they embrace it, sorry.
mm,
And then there are the few youth who want to be a little experiential in their youth. Let me pull on, let me enjoy, and finally I'll find somebody and settle down. By the time you have caused so many unpleasant, unnecessary experiences, which leads one unpleasantness to another, you cannot find a proper person by the time you take a final decision.
mm,
So clearer, purer way is easy to take a decision. It's why falling in love in the younger days, it's very pure.
mm,
The older, after around 30s, it's more like, uh, you know, you check the each other's pros and cons and then take a decision.
mm.
The purer you are, it is easier to settle.
Have you seen people abiding by their pure decision to fall in love and you know continue?
There are wrong decisions even that pure love, because one party might not be pure in mind.
Yeah,
So it can happen.
this is true. And how much this process is different for girls and for boys? Waiting and enjoying life and delaying the marriage. Uh,
uh,
this process same for boys and girls, or for one gender it becomes more tougher than the other?
See, there was a generation of the 70s and the 80s who were like, they have to listen to their, by the time they were to be married. So I'm talking about the people who were born in the 70s and 80s. They listen to their parents. And when it comes to that, they take a decision, get married. But around the more equal they became, like, the boy, the girl, equal education, equal opportunities, everything. The girls suddenly have found, what shall I say, um, that a man is not necessary for me to achieve such and such a goals. They suddenly understood it, and so for that they try to postpone.
Hmm.
So they have made like a goal sheet. They have written down, by 25 I want to do this, by 30 I want to do this, by 35 I want to do this by 40. I want to do this. So the girls are postponing, but the boys cannot wait. They like to settle down because by around 30.
mm,
And this is why you see younger people like boys wanting to get married by 25, 26. Families want them get married because the girl will be like 23, 24. So it's easier to adjust with each other, understand each other, and then iron out the differences, whatever, when they are younger
mm.
than when they are older. So it's somewhere it's we have to meet in between. It's not happening, is what I feel in the
Mm.
present context.
And this is happening more and more in India now, where girls are delaying to marry because of the opportunities. Earlier, this was the phenomena of the Western countries, but now seen more and more in India. Is this the reason also for divorces? Means the empowerment of women, it's a very good thing, bringing them equal or the equal footing with men, and they coming up with their potential and the working. But at the same time, because of this, we see high number of divorces. Maybe this is not the only reason for it, but one of the reason.
See, when it comes to divorces or even when it comes to choosing a partner, I always feel that, their upbringing, how they have been brought up,
Hmm.
that's very, very crucial because the the ideas that the visual thing that they see from when they are children as to how their parents are, which is what is going to they if their parents are great, they want to emulate that. If their parents are already bickering and they want somebody who's stable, who won't bicker with them. So right from the childhood, how the couples, how the I mean the children have been brought up, that plays an important role in taking a decision of marriage with a person, with a boy or a girl.
Yeah. But one more thing is seen that at a very
And
young age,
hmm,
girl and boy, they leave home for education. So when they are in school or when they are in college, they're already outside. And
yes,
when they start to process about marriage, they have seen so much of the world outside that what is at home becomes very little for them. Even if
yes,
the relationship of parents are great, but they are going to create chaos in their own lives.
yes.
One of the observation because.
Because they have not lived with their parents. I feel small. I have observed that people from small towns and small villages, they have to, because of education, they have to live in hostels.
Hmm,
And there, it's just you have to make your bed, you have to take care of your things. There's no, live example of couples or anybody in their lives. They are each. So what happens for them? It becomes a little difficult to, unless they make the mind, or when they come to holidays, is how the parents keep on telling them
hmm,
as to how good it is to have a successful marriage, how good it is. It needs to be talked in the house. With the thing is, where marriage is not talked about the house when the children are in their teenagers. The parents will say, no, 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 we should not talk about that. We should talk only when the children are around 20s. By the time they already formed impressions from other places,
yes.
movies, for videos, YouTube, so many avenues are there. So those days there were a lot of people staying in one house. So you had always conversations about marriage, somebody, and what is right, what is wrong. There used to be debates in the house that whether that person did a right or wrong. So you're always, though you're younger, you are able to hear that conversations and what that person is thinking. So even as a child, when you're hearing, you understand, okay, what this is the wrong decision or the right decision.
Hmm,
So you learn like that. It's not like a book you learn. this is the right, this is the wrong thing to do. As in the life you learn. But nowadays, see, after the nuclear families are there, parents don't talk about much in the family. Let her finish studies. Her focus is only studies. Unfortunately, in the schools, I would be thinking, instead of swimming and other activities, they should teach about finance. They should teach about, a little bit of investments,
mm,
some gender neutral subjects. It's not even cooking, a little bit. So, navigation, so
mm,
many things, in the schools, if they had taught, like, what shall we say, life lessons a little bit. It would help them in the, because they are nuclear families now.
mm,
That's what countries like Japan teach them when their children are in the schools, because they know that they have an aging population. How would it take care? How the families take care of their parents. It's all taught how they in the when the schools itself, like taking care of your house, taking care of your surroundings. So the divorce is the ultimate thing. What that person is as a person, what is wrong. It didn't happen just like that. It is two personalities clashing. That's why the divorce happens. And those two personalities has been built over years, their foundations and everything.
mm.
That needs to be worked. They need to realign their foundation.
Okay. Now, what does foundation means here?
Foundation is what in the, probably their parents, if they had given a great example, it was fine. If not, then they should have looked into some other couples who were great as a couple. Other, their own aunts, uncle, who are good couples. If they had taken that education and had made up mind, this is how I'm going to live. These are the lessons that I will be using in the future when I marry.
Mm,
These are what you gather some pearls as you grow in order to make a string in the future.
individuality also is one of the factor for divorces nowadays. The growing feeling of individuality, that I am important, my feeling.
If they were so focused on individuality, then why marry?
Yeah,
Marriage is a, you know it's a union of two.
sacrifice is needed.
Sacrifice needed, commitment is needed. It needs work.
Mm,
Marriage is for the brave.
mm,
It is not like I will be how I am, let that other person come and adjust. It doesn't happen,
yes.
because each one brings their own set of differences, values, everything.
Mm,
Good values, bad habits, all this needs to be worked out before,
mm,
even if I have seen, even it takes as soon as you're married, it's not a hit. It takes at least 2 to 3 years by the time it's smooth sailing. It is normal. Our grandparents had it, our parents had it, but nobody talks about it. They all think they all live happily married after. No, that doesn't happen. It takes a while.
yes.
And sometimes when you see older couples walking in a park, or helping each other, it kind of warms your heart. Being in a metro, going in a metro, it warms your heart, and you think how this couple achieved that. They've done a lot of work, I tell you.
50 year, more than 50 year of
More
marriage.
than 50 years. Even when I was younger, I used to think, I wish if I get older, I'll be like that. I
You,
think I'm on course of it, but but that was my goal.
mm,
And so I was, you put up the work for that.
Yes. Again, sacrifice is needed, love is needed
Yes,
for
yes. Love is needed.
it. Mm. So again, coming back to the role of family, one is becoming a role model for children. The
Hmm.
other thing, when let's say, uh, the girl comes into the house, and then things started to boil up within the family, and
Yeah.
the role of the family there, when the couple is married, the role of the family to make it more stable. And I've
Hmm.
heard this thing that because of nuclear families where the parents are not living with the couple, the rate of divorces are going high. Whereas if you see in a joint family, that problem is less. Because of the family, the couple will not break.
Hmm.
But whereas when they're living alone, so it's a very weird thing. One is family members creating chaos in the life of the couple. Another thing is when they are there, the chances of breaking of the marriage is very less. So have you seen anything? Have you experienced
See,
like that?
one I observed that when after the couple is married, give them. I would tell the parents not be too much into their lives. Let them figure out their each other first. Even if it's a love marriage and they know them very well and all that, but still it takes a time. You a simple things like a wet bath towel put on a bed can piss her off.
Yeah.
She get angry or something like that, or her habit. So these habits take time to kind of settle down. During the time, the parents, if they try to impose even their expectations and everything on that, it becomes already the couple are handling a lot.
Mm,
So that is there. And also in a joint family, uh, the elders understand, not by the couple saying, just by, because of their experience, they understand what they require and they give that space, time, advice, whatever, then and there. Whereas the couples who are alone, it keeps on boiling, boiling and boiling. Nobody, there's no outlet. It can take 6 months by the time even the girl might open up to the parents or something. By the time, so much would have happened. They're very scared to open up. Here, without any verbal, communication with the couple in the joint family, the elders understand
mm,
because they know, or one of them, at least the boy will be. Generally, it is the girls who going into the joint family. So the family members of the boy understand what kind of a person he is, and they will, tell her that this is how it is, this is how it is. So she gets enough inputs. Whereas a nuclear family couple, they are both have to figure out on their own.
mm. Yes, true.
So this cushion is there in a joint family, and if everybody are nice and happy, and it all works out, it's great. When in a joint family, if each one pulls each other, then it becomes difficult for that young bride or bridegroom to manage.
Yes, true. What are your thoughts on love marriage versus arranged marriage? Because arranged marriage is
Work is the same. Work is the same.
still, if we see the maximum number of marriages in India are arranged marriages, not love marriages.
Yes.
Love
Yes.
fail and then they do arranged marriage.
Yes.
So work is the same.
Work is the same.
So coming to the the
Love marriage, there is a thrill of marrying the person you are so emotionally involved. Here, emotion was more, then the process started. In arranged marriage, they finished the process, then they started developing the emotion for each other.
which one you have seen getting more success?
I can't say that.
Means keeping one parameter
I
common that work is needed, but still.
Work is needed for both. I have seen whether love the love after some time it fades away, because not fades away. You see when you're dating, the person puts on a best self,
Hmm. Yeah.
and when you in the same house
Mm.
after the marriage.
When the mission is achieved.
Yeah, and each one and generally the boy relaxes.
Yes. Mission achieved.
So then the girl will get angry, like, you know, when he was dating, he was just nice.
Yes,
He
yes.
was ever showering with gifts and, sweet, sweet nothings and all that. But now, he just wants his tea. He wants his food hot.
True, this is true. This brings me to another topic, whether one should marry the person whom he loves or marry the person who loves him, applying to both girl and a boy.
Um, suppose you marry a girl, suppose you marry a person that you like versus a person who likes you.
Yeah.
I'd go with the second. Marry a person who likes you
Why is that?
because you are liking a person, you are chasing that person.
Okay.
So what happens whether that you're not sure whether they are going to like, they're going to accept, even after marriage I've seen.
Hmm.
So always marry somebody who likes you, who has accepted you. Then you are in the driver's seat.
Okay. But this thing also happens that you try to marry a person who likes you, and then for a very long time, or maybe for whole life, you cannot generate those feelings for that person, because it's not natural. Maybe you are forcing it to come, but there is always this fear: what if I never fell in love with the other person who loves me? Then it will be difficult for me, it will be difficult for the other person.
Uh, I have I have seen one person in a couple. One will always be in love with the other will like
Okay, so intensity from one side is more.
more.
Okay.
And not all times. In different situations, it varies. It's like a ebb and it's like a wave
Hmm.
because each person's expression of love or what they call love is different.
Hmm.
So, what you call love may be an intense. I mean, we have seen books, we have read books about what is love for a man and what is love for a woman is very different.
Hmm. Yes. Five love languages. There's this book called Five Love
Yes, yes.
Languages.
Yeah,
But it does not differentiate between man and women, but it differentiate between people having different love languages. And if
love
your love
languages. Yeah.
language is not understood
You
by
got a perfect girl, that means a lock and a key.
yes,
That has to happen.
true, true.
Like uh, each one know their boundaries within which they operate as a
Hmm.
couple. If you know the boundaries of each other without, being too aggressive about it, then it is easy for them to work out their marriage.
Hmm.
Communication is the main thing between marriage. Communication, lot of communication with each other.
How
There's this new theory, every 6 hours, if each has not called each other, just give a call. Just say, how are you? It's enough. Every 6 days, just take a walk. Every 6 months, go at least to a restaurant and have a date, even with your wife.
no, always
Of
with
course. Yeah.
not with the other person. I was hearing one of the he was a very big marriage counselor, sort of a psychologist in United States, and he was saying that it is not the big things which make a successful marriage, bigger commitments and doing bigger things. It is the smaller things in life, and that is
Yes,
our experience over 50 years, like sipping the coffee or tea together in the morning or in the evening, sitting together for dinner or lunch. These small things which you do together,
yes,
a stronger marriage
yes.
than one day buying a necklace for your wife. That doesn't matter.
I'll say that when you are married, sipping tea together will not be interesting. It's only post 50 it's interesting.
Hmm.
When you are in your 30s, there will be expectation of gifts and all that. Those small things matter, but then provided you have solved all the bigger things that generally happen in your 30s and 40s, because that's when your life, you are definitive about where you are taking the direction, the place you want to be. By 40, you would have understood how you're going to plan your retirement, where you're going to live, everything. If you are taken care of your 30s and 40s, by 50s, it's nice to, you're taken care of health first nowadays. It's important. So important nowadays.
Hmm. Yes, true.
But there's also, recently, I don't know, a news about a person who divorced because the husband was too good.
You wanted some change in life.
The wife divorced the husband because he was too good.
This
There
is one
was,
of the
I
thing.
mean,
This is one of the thing I've seen. People don't like the people who are easy. They want some challenge.
yes,
Why is that?
because there's a, what they say, there's always a little bit of friction is nice. Friction makes the vehicle go faster.
Yes, yes,
So there's a little bit of friction is good. Otherwise, it gets boring. It's like, living with a robo and AI now, who
yes,
says yes to everything.
yes, man. But this is one thing I have seen when people confess their feeling to the other person, and mostly boys confess their feeling to the girls. Mostly, I'm saying, also happens other way around. And if they do it a little early, the whole attraction drops. The process has become very easy. So it's always good to have that sort of friction among them, so sort of a tension between them, where
Tension between the two.
yes, where the other person doesn't know what's going on in the head of the other person, you know so when that thing is there, the girl or a boy keeps thinking about the opposite, and that develops the feeling, and then they are attracted towards each other far more than they were earlier.
Earlier.
But that process in itself, if you think about, if you like a girl, or if a girl likes a boy and they go and very genuinely they confess, it's a beautiful thing. But the point is, you know it is better to
It
be
it
mindful about,
falls flat.
it's better to be mindful than to be heartful about it.
Yeah.
Elders say, if you
You
like,
go you go and tell a girl in plain words you like her, she's not going to like you.
yes,
I'll tell you what. In even in the animal kingdom, you would have seen, even in the birds.
mm,
I have seen the birds, the male bird make so much of a nest, so much of a fuss to attract that female in order to lay an egg. He prepares the ground, he prepares with the twigs. It's then only it's a process. So you just go and tell her it's nothing thrilling.
yeah,
It's always a little bit of uncertainty which is
Yes.
attractive.
Yes. So one of my friend, so I was like talking to him, and he always abided by one law. That law was that keeping your feelings unclear will always attract the other person. The moment you make your feelings clear that I like you,
Yes.
I don't like you, they'll run away. So he was always like that, always
It's
keeping his
yeah.
feelings unclear. But the time period which is there,
Hmm.
the courtship which happens in the time period, time it takes, if you really like the other person, it becomes very difficult to just hold on and do nothing about it. Man wants to do something about it. They want to go and just do something about it. So he tried the other way around. He said, I like this girl a lot, and this time, man, I am going to just go and say. He did it, failed. So he said, I'm going back to my old habit. This thing happens.
See, it is true for, yeah, I have seen that it's a gift for the men to do that. Maintain a certain uncertainty. The men are gifted with that. I
Yeah.
won't say gift in good way, because when it comes to business and we are striking it, it's an asset. It's an asset for a man because he's striking a deal or something, and the other party is not able to know what's on your mind.
But leaving
So
business thing apart, coming to this important thing that love is one thing, and if you really like somebody and you don't want to play games, you don't want to be uncertain, you don't
you want to be very sattvic.
yes about everything, and then you just go and tell them very nicely that see,
No,
this is the thing, and I am not going to
it's
stretch.
going to put off the girl. I'll tell you.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is this good, because animal
I'll
kingdom
tell
you
you.
do understand.
I'll tell you the process. Like when, since you asked now,
Yes.
I'll just tell you. See, there's an uncertainty that your friend had told. His approach is right.
Hmm.
A boy has to be uncertain, but also keep the girl in his view, in his visual view. Even if it is say 500 meters or 600 meters, he's or 500 feet. Sorry, not meters. I'm saying that's like half a kilometer. 50 meters or 100 meters. If you're seeing, if somebody is looking at you, you get a vibe, right?
Yes.
You get a pull.
Hmm.
You would have seen that in school, or when you are in the classes, suppose you are in a education, and that boys and girls and giving glances and all that. Even if you are in the middle of something, something knocks you. It's an intuitive thing that something, literally there's an invisible tap on your
Truly.
shoulder and you do look. So that and but when you look, that person is not seeing, so it gives a confusion whether was it the imagination or actually something happened. That ambiguity you have to maintain till the girl you know really puts a step forward and says yes.
Yes.
Then the battle is won.
Of course, then the battle is won. True. Means I abide by that. Now, from now on, I will.
Wait for it. If it doesn't come, then you have to. But generally, a girl will give an indication very, very soon whether she's interested or not.
Yeah, that's true. See, I think in first, second meeting, you will come to know whether the other person is interested. It's just about holding on to that for as long as she gets more interested into the whole thing. And that's what I was like. See, animal kingdom you have mentioned, that's one thing, but now we live in a civilized human society where arranged marriage is
We
one of.
live in a civilized human society, but basically, we are, In millennia, we are the same species. We have not added another, features to our physical characters.
Yeah. Only that we have mind.
Yeah.
Still we work on, see, we go according to our tendencies. So
Yes.
in a arranged marriage setting where you already know that the other person, a girl or a boy, is coming for marriage and there is no ambiguity, nothing, how do things happen there?
There, because much of the groundwork is done by the parents. They when they see a boy, when the boy comes to generally, the boy comes to the girl's house and sees they have finished all the groundwork and say this family and that family is suitable.
Mm,
When the couple come to see each other, the one thing that they have to look for is whether the vibration of each other kind of gels,
mm,
whether you're comfortable in that house. Did
true.
that person make you feel warm?
Mm,
That is when you go ahead with the proposal. Not because, I have done MBA, he has done every MBA, our, Kundli matches, everything is fine. Not those tick boxes. Whether you feel comfortable with her, she feels comfortable with
you.
in the house.
Mm,
And when you sit with her, you can understand a vibration, whether the boy will know whether this vibration will be suitable for his in his home.
true. You have to be sensitive.
So that, yeah, you have to be sensitive.
Mm,
I think every human being is sensitive. It's just that we don't tap into it or use it much.
yes, we
The
have
more you use it, the sharper it becomes. Yeah.
yeah, we do have our proper mindsets which
Huh.
doesn't allow those vibrations or those
Yeah. Like
sensitive.
it's always the battle between the mind and the heart. The mind has said that okay, when they see in the arranged marriage, you have seen that you have the tick boxes. She is this, height, education, her whatever profession she is in, and their family background or whatever, and everything is matching. That's the mind which is saying that she is perfect,
Mm,
but the heart should say no. The heart will say only if that vibration uh, is conducive, like when they talk with each other, sit with each other. That is the initial, yes. 3 4 months down the line, there may be something like any normal love marriage couple, which differences may come up because you're going deeper and deeper into that, knowing that person. There are bound to
mm,
happen. It's just that whether you want to overlook it or not.
mm,
Some people, okay, this is not my criteria. For me, the girl may say no. Her criteria may be different, and she may overlook it.
mm,
Innately, every woman wants to have a good husband, not for herself, but she marries the father of her children.
mm, yes.
That's what she's looking,
And,
because they're always, even if they are younger, the the mother in them will always be there.
mm. But still, we have seen girls making foolish choices sometimes, marrying aggressive guys, and you know this toxicity around, and
Aggressive guys is a thrill of trying to control, uh, you know, or the thing is they would be comfortable in an aggressive environment.
mm,
So they are familiar with that behavior. So they go and marry that person, aggressive person, thinking, yeah, I'm familiar with this. I know how to handle it.
but then that thing happens with her
But
also.
then,
Yeah.
can they go beyond the head? Then it's
So again, it's a fight between your mind and your
hard.
heart. the preconceived notions which you have about something and your heart.
Yes.
Hmm. And how these economics and caste consideration plays into marriage nowadays in the
There
modern
was
society we live in, where we are more and more saying that girl and boy are on the equal footing, and castes does not marry does not matter that much. But still, caste, even in families which are well-to-do families, caste is a very important consideration. What do you think about this consideration?
See, when I say caste, it's more your way of life.
Hmm.
Why you have the caste is because you're comfortable with the way of life, be it eating your food and cooking your food rather.
Hmm.
Basically that you're used. What do you do from in the name of caste from the whole day? What in a given day? What do you do in the name of caste? You get up in the morning. If at all a Brahmin is there, they might do Sandhya Vandanam. We don't know.
Hmm.
Then they go puja or whatever as per their caste or something they do and go to the office, which we don't see that much in the younger generation nowadays.
Hmm.
The only thing that keeps on is the way they make the food, the way they keep the house, the way they move around with their families,
Hmm.
with the relatives. They have a comfort zone. Caste is more like a comfort zone.
Hmm.
So people would like to be in their comfort zones rather than, be adjusting to something new and which is not they are which they are not familiar with.
Hmm.
It's more caste is more like a comfort zone. Other than that, I don't see it as a.
The economics things, is it also related to comfort zone, how much money the other person has and what kind of work they are doing?
Is it for the boy or the girl you're asking?
Mostly
Is this question?
for the
No,
girl.
I didn't get your question. Like,
A girl will look into the bank account of a boy to put it very
mm,
rudely.
yeah,
This is one of the consideration. It's not always that, but if you have a very stable job versus a
yeah,
person who really loves you but do not have a stable job, there are
ah,
chances a girl will choose stability over love.
yes.
What do you say about that?
Because the world, yeah, um, during your 60s, 70s, 80s, people married more for love.
Hmm.
Then the 90s, 2000, it's less about love and more about economics. One, the world opened up because they understood what is necessary.
Hmm.
Because things started become expensive and they had to push up and they saw this 90s, saw those 70s, 80s struggling.
Hmm.
Then they understood this is not what I want. I want to have a good bank balance
Hmm.
because that brings peace in the house.
Hmm.
If economy is the question, because of that there may be a lot of fights in the house because you're not able to meet the ends.
Hmm. True.
So in choosing a richer boy, the girl is um, choosing some lesser fights in the house because of economy, because of the finance in the house. That's a choice she makes. But you know, in the future, in their 40s, they will regret that they will say that they could have married a man who loved her more
Hmm.
than the money.
Have you seen such examples?
I have seen many.
But for a girl, that is also important, no? Because at the end of the day, what you said, sh even if she's younger, she has that mother inside her, and she's looking for the stability of her child, for the good health of her child. And because of that, she's choosing a person who can provide that stability,
Yes.
a family who can provide that stability, of a family have
Definitely.
resources. So still, when they get into their 40s and 50s, they think about what they have foregone, and what they have lost.
Obviously.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah, it happens. You have seen the famous ad. You would have even Shadi.com had an ad,
Which one?
and I'm not sure whether it was aired in North India, but in South India it was aired, saying that if I had a choice, my father would have got a Maharaja at the time.
Mm.
So and it was an old lady telling. She was in her 70s or 80s.
Yes.
So, so this whether the person was the right person or not, it's a constant this thing for proving each other. That is there in the initial years, 10 years, 12 years, because each one wants to give their best.
Mm.
Even after marriage, you have to prove that you have to continuously prove for each other.
Mm.
It's not like it's done, because in order to keep it alive, you have to keep the flame burning.
And what are the biggest regrets you have seen in marriages, when the girls or the boys, they become man and women in their 40s and 50s, the regrets they have about choosing the partner?
For women, it's the stability and money.
How did it show up? Means,
If a person had not married a person who had money, it just shows to a woman, because she's struggling. She's trying to make her not more about love, but it's about finance. When it came to finance, if they would have said that, had I been better, married that person, I would have been better.
okay, so the priority changes later on.
Later on. Because there are too many things to take care.
Yeah.
The children are growing and they need a secure. It's less about them and more about the children in their 40s and 50s.
Hmm. So, and the reasons for women and man both are different or almost same?
I think women think farther into the future,
Hmm.
and they think about a lot of elements.
Hmm.
It will be their children, it will be their own health, it will be their, aged parents. Everything is, when a woman says we need money, it's not that she needs money.
Hmm.
It's the entirety, like, her children, the aged parents, everything.
Hmm. Yes. So what practically would be the last question, that what do you think is the most important element to make a marriage successful?
For a marriage to be successful, tolerance and patience.
Tolerance and patience
Tolerance and patience.
and communication.
Yes, that's next. Once you tolerate enough, then you're able to actually listen to what the other person is saying.
Yes, true. So okay, on that note, I think we have discussed enough topics on marriage, and hopefully people who will watch this podcast will have many things to learn, especially the young people.
Yeah.
And it was very nice talking to you. I hope I would sit down in front of you and talk rather than on this, distance internet connection. Yeah.
Yeah. But this at present times the most practical way of going ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So it was nice talking to you, Maya.
yes, thank you. Thank you
You
very
gave
much for
me
coming on the
a
podcast.
lot of things to share. Normally, I would not share, but the more you probe and prod, and then it's easy to take it out of me.
Yes.
I hope whatever little bit I said can help, hopefully.
Yeah, surely it will help
Take,
people.
yeah.
Surely it will help. So thank you very much,
Thank
man.
you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me on the show.